On today's show,
we check the polls as we approach the halfway point of the NBA season
to pick our most pleasant surprises, most disappointing teams, and the All-NBA First Team Center.
And Chris Paul clowns the Heat in our top 10 plays of the week.
It's Friday, January 13th. The Starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or later on YouTube, we're happy to have all of you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tas Melis.
Our cameraman Rick shops at Ross. That's why they call him
Rick Ross.
Yeah.
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the TJ Maxx, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over there, it's the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey, beard guy, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters, and I don't know why they did it, but yesterday, Australia's top basketball league, the NBL, blessed us with an incredible video that you just have to see. This, I guess, is the top stars in the early 90s dancing to an Iggy Pop song.
That's right,
Lee,
yeah.
do you have any background on this at all?
Not really, just a promotional video to get into the season. There's Shane Heal there.
Hold on, this is supposed to get you into the season.
Yeah, there's Gazy. We've had Gazy
How
on
does
the show.
that not get you into the season?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, speaking of Lee Ellis, this brings us to today's question. What is the most Lee Ellis moment in this video? Because this is the most Lee Ellis video I've ever seen. And I have a few options for you.
Okay.
For instance, it could be Andrew Gaze doing Lee's patented 90% of dancing is in the face dance moves. Or it could be Dean Udoff rocking the Merv Hughes stash that Lee made famous during his Movember run to the stash. But personally, I think it's this ultimate that'll do scene where one of the players is dancing out of formation, but the director moves him back and just decides to keep it anyways. Nonetheless, we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter. What is the most Lee Ellis moment of that NBL dancing video? Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters, and maybe we'll get this guy dancing a bit
I was
later.
going to say, yeah, maybe a little later you can show us some of those moves.
Maybe, yeah. Now you know why I'm so cool, though, don't you? There's a bit of background
Oh,
to
yeah,
it.
absolutely. All right, we got a fun show tonight. Tass is going to hand out the dishonor for worst of the week, and we'll count down the top 10
not that video?
plays. No, that's the best of the week, apparently. We'll also count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days. But first, on Monday, we're going to reach the halfway point of the season. So we thought it was the perfect time to ask you, the fans out there, a few big questions. It's time to check the polls, the season halfway point edition. And Trey, you are our poll master.
I'm the poll master.
You've
over
got
here.
the results. The results are in.
That's right, and put on a happy face because the first poll we're peeping is this season's most pleasant surprise. The winner, with 41% of the vote, is the Houston Rockets. You guys agree?
I totally agree with the people. This is shocking. Their over-under line to start the season was 44 wins. They're on pace for 62 wins. They're knocking on the Spurs door, and they're close to the Warriors in third in the Western Conference. James Harden is obviously leading an incredible offense. They've got 100 points in 27 straight games. We thought their offense would be good. We didn't know it would be this good. We didn't know everyone would buy in after last year when this team came out of the gate. Lost by 20 points in 3 straight games. Kevin McHale was fired basically because of that. This is an entirely different attitude, locker room, and that's why they're playing well. So the offense, I guess we'd kind of expect it to be good. We just didn't expect them to be 31-10. And the defense, as Mike D'Antoni told Trey earlier this year, we just kind of want it to be top 10. That's our goal.
Yeah.
And they're achieving that goal right now. Since December 1st, they're 7th on defense. They're 19th overall because the first month wasn't that great, but they're coming along. And just some way, somehow they get it done. Late in games, they win.
I can't believe how well it's all come together with these guys like Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon, who were risky moves coming in by Daryl Morey this season. These guys have had injury history, but it seems to be clicking together. Eric Gordon, especially coming off the bench, has been fantastic.
He's already won Sixth Man of the Year, hasn't he?
Pretty much, yeah. I
Probably.
mean, especially if they win 62 games, there's no question he will win it there. But the way James Harden incorporates these guys, still is able to get his own shots and get to the rim inside, even get the big guys in NA, and when Capella's out there, get those guys baskets. But again, everything seems to be working really well for the Rockets right now.
Yeah, the Rockets, I think the people do have it right. I'm a little surprised that the Grizzlies are last in this poll behind the Bucks and the Jazz. Like, the Bucks are 500. They should be better, to be completely honest. I don't know why that would be a surprise.
They didn't make the playoffs last year, though.
Yeah, but and the Jazz, you know, some of us coming into the season had high hopes for them. They sort of were like the hipster sort of internet basketball fans team, and when George Hill's playing, they're good. But the Grizzlies, to me, they're the sort of the most pleasant surprise, I guess, and that is the question, because they're 24-17. They're a half a game back from the 5th spot in the West. We thought the grit and grind era might be dead, and we talked about it here on the show. Last year, obviously, when they were banged up, maybe at the start of the season, they have a new coach, of course, in Fizdale. But here they are with the 3rd best defense in the league, somehow fighting to win every close game imaginable. And this is all despite having some of their star guys, their big signing in Chandler Parsons, missing a whole lot of time. Conley was out with a broken back, and the guy's already back.
Yeah.
You know, Randolph, Allen, some older guys, Vince, they've missed some normal time. But to me, that's a shock. And they got quality wins over the Rockets and Thunder. They beat the Warriors in that unbelievable
Twice
rout.
they've beaten the Warriors.
And they beat the Jazz recently in a slugfest, a defensive game. So some quality wins there. It's a pleasant surprise to me.
Isn't that the story every year with the Grizzlies, though? We come in, I mean, I bet my buddy Grish 2 years ago
Right.
that they would have more wins than the Pistons.
Is he your buddy or my buddy, Grish?
Well, his name has become my buddy Grish,
yeah.
right? It's osmosis.
Yeah, it doesn't
even though
matter.
he's not my buddy. But
hates him.
their over-under line was 42.5 coming into this year. That line's ridiculous. This team is always good. They've got one of the best centers, one of the best point guards. Everybody just overlooks them
Yeah.
every single year.
They're sort of like Spurs light.
Yes,
In a way, do you know
yeah.
what I mean? Where you sort of forget, or you think that this will be the year that they fall off and somehow find a way to get
And last year they played with an NBA record 28
Yeah.
players on their roster and still managed to make the playoffs. They just keep doing it.
All right, Trey, let's check the next poll.
Well, unfortunately, it's time to flip the script. Our next poll to check: who has been this season's most disappointing team? And the people have spoken. 43% voted the Minnesota Timberwolves as this season's most disappointing team. Kind of hard to disagree.
I 100% agree with that one. We thought the Wolves were going to win 50 games.
No one thought that.
There were Tim Bontemps. Definitely, I remember him going on record.
Timmy is not.
Timmy
Timmy's a
said
good
they were
man.
going to win 50 games. He's a smart man, obviously.
That's 50
we thought
games.
we thought they were going to be a playoff team.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Most people
we
thought
did.
they were going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I did for sure.
And here they are. Because why? We knew they had some scoring. They got 3 guys that can put up 20 points per game on any given night in Towns, Zach LaVine, and Andrew Wiggins. We thought with Coach Thibodeau coming in there, okay, he'll help the defense. That's all he did in Chicago.
Yeah.
He made them into elite defenses. You think Thibodeau, with a bunch of young guys that are obviously athletic, you get a system in place and you're going to start picking up some wins. No one thought they would keep getting these massive leads and just keep blowing game after game. So that's what's shocking. It's
And also, they won 29 games last year, and the Rockets made the playoffs with 41. So another 13 wins, assuming 41 or 42 would get you in the playoffs. That's part of the reason you did it. But the young talent, they have the defensive-minded Karl Anthony Towns there as well, who can go out and score. All the ingredients are there for this team be at least 500. But right now, they're well and truly behind that. And they have been pretty bad.
That being said, it's not that dire because they are getting those leads that you're saying that they're blowing. That's a good sign. And they have the 20 points. I'm not saying
better than trailing by 20.
I think
It's a rosy way of looking at it, for sure.
it's definitely rosy. But at the same time, I mean, they're looking up at a lot of teams in the standings, but there's lots of hope.
Tell us they haven't made the playoffs in 13 years. This will be 13
That is a
consecutive
ridiculous
years.
number.
Like they're at a point as a franchise, we got to make the playoffs.
They haven't made the playoffs since they went to the conference finals in 04.
Well, there you go.
Which is crazy. The West is just really good, so I didn't expect them to make the postseason, and their projected line was like 40, which, you said...
That's right on the fringe based on what we saw last year.
Right.
And it probably will, if you look at that 8 spot right now,
Yeah.
500 will probably get you that 8 spot in the Western Conference.
just
so
so
who do
many
you
good
think?
teams.
Who's the most disappointing team for you then?
Off paper, off the court, it's the New York Knicks, just watching them. But I think the Portland Trailblazers, I expected them to be really good this year.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were a surprise team last year when they won 44 games, but I didn't think they'd take a step back. And maybe the second half of the season, like they got going last year, will sort of, be the same as last year, because right now at 18 and 23, I'm shocked. They've got 2 20-point scorers in the backcourt, but they can't stop anybody. They've got the 3rd worst defense in the league. So they have been picking it up recently.
That's improved that defense too since Alfred Amino came back. So it just shows how bad it really was.
Yeah, for sure.
I just thought they were surprised last year, and there'd be no reason for them to step back because the roster didn't get any worse. Evan Turner's signing hasn't worked out, but it doesn't mean they should have gotten worse.
Right. All right, Trey, final one here. What's the next poll?
Final one, and big men still matter. So our last poll is picking the first team All-NBA center, and after strong endorsements from both Draymond Green and LeBron James, the people are going with DeMarcus Cousins, who garnered 40% of the vote. You guys down with Boogie as the first team All-NBA center?
That's tough. You go with any of these guys, honestly.
I'm going with Davis though. They started off terribly, 0-8. Since then, they've pretty much got back to nearly 500. They're only a game and a half back now of the Blazers for 8th spot. So the Pelicans have to feel that the playoffs are well and truly within reach.
Sure.
29-12, 2.5 blocks a game. He's been incredible. Put up some unbelievable lines this year. Any of those centers, there's a great crop of centers right now. You mentioned DeMarcus, Marc Gasol's in there, Rudy Gobert. DeAndre Jordan was first team All-NBA last year. He's not even really mentioned this year.
Not even on our poll.
Yeah. So there's some really good centers. For me, it's Davis.
There's so many good centers. I don't think you have to force Anthony Davis into that center spot when you're picking the All-NBA teams. Although he plays a decent amount of center.
Yeah.
He doesn't start at center.
Yeah, 65%, I guess, of his minutes come at the center position. That's enough for me.
Yeah, sure. It's sure. But he does finish the game at center. I don't think Alvin Gentry wants it to be that way. He just doesn't have a center that can really play. Omer Asik is disappointing. I went with the traditional center because, as you mentioned, there's lots of guys. Anthony Davis, as we picked on the Drop podcast, say we picked all 3 NBA teams. I got him in there as a forward position, but I squeezed in all those 3 other guys, Gasol, Cousins, in this order, and Gobert as the centers.
So
you got
pick.
4 in, really. 4 centers and 3 teams.
Sort of, yeah.
You love the big guys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, people say the center's done. It's not.
All right. Either are we. Come on back.
Welcome back to the show. Now's the point of the week where we hand out the dishonor to someone in the NBA family that has done wrong in the eyes of the starters. It's time for the worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week is Bulls guard Rajon Rondo and to some extent his coach Fred Hoiberg. Now I know we could talk about the Knicks forever, but let's let that lie for a second. And I think that's been overshadowing a situation in Chicago that's been bubbling a little bit. Now, Rajon Rondo played the good soldier when he was out. He was benched for 5 games. The 4-time All-Star didn't complain at all during that stretch. But his comments after that demotion indicate to me that this will not end that well. Quote, "When I signed here, why I wanted to come here, it's a lot different than what I anticipated. Because the team isn't playing well. Hoiberg is trying anything to win. How does Rondo not get that? The Bulls don't have a winning record, and they don't have the personnel to run and gun, which is what Rondo seems to want." Then Rondo told the media why he was benched. "I got a slight explanation from another guy on the staff. A guy told me that Hoiberg was saving me from myself." Save me from myself. I never heard that before in my life, but I guess he was trying to do the best for me. And then his response to the saving me from myself assertion, I thought it was bull bleep. I'll tell you how Rondo can save himself. By pulling a Marshawn Lynch and not talking. What's the benefit of explaining everything to the media? And that brings us to Hoiberg. Rondo is learning of his role change through assistant coaches. Look, it's not Hoiberg's responsibility to run every lineup change by each of his players, but he knows Rondo. Playing telephone isn't going to fly all that well. Just go to him and tell him. Look, give Hoiberg credit. He made a bold move by sitting an accomplished veteran for 5 games. That's commendable. And Rondo has looked decent in his 2 games off the bench since his 5 DNPs. So maybe it works somewhat, but the Bulls aren't winning. Thursday morning, Hoiberg told reporters that he wants Rondo to be the leader of that second unit. Let's hope that was communicated directly to said leader, Rondo, and to a lesser degree, Fred Hoiberg, your worst of the week. Thanks to Casey Johnson, Nick Friedel, and TheScore.com for quotes. Not a huge melee or fracas, but it's boiling.
You took it easy on the Knicks this week. Boy.
I've had enough Knicks.
Unbelievable. I do have a runner-up, though. A small runner-up that I'd like to throw in the mix here. It happened on Thursday night in Mexico City, the Mavericks and the Suns, and the worst of the week honor, I guess, goes to this fan, in my opinion. He's holding TJ Warren down to try and get a selfie.
Yes, he deserves it.
Like, TJ's trying to get up, and I guess he got the shot.
Got an arm lock.
You gotta let the guy up, man. You can't do that.
Okay, enough with the negativity.
All right.
Positive thing here. We got a wedgie.
Yeah! Baby!
Number 20 on the season. We love wedgies, and so does Ian Eagle.
Lopez ducks in. Oh, a wedgie! It's hard to even try to do that with the basketball.
That's right, Donnie Marshall. It is. Somehow, players have done it 20 times this season.
All right.
Hilarious man Norm MacDonald also tweeted that it was a wedgie as it happened.
That's a real Magic Johnson tweet there.
Hey,
Solid.
that was a wedgie. Hey, a jump ball is happening now. Now we've picked up the pace a little bit. We had 44 last year. We're at 45.
Oh, back in front.
That's
projected wedgies this season.
Okay, maybe we can
Kiwi.
pick some up over the long weekend here of NBA action. A lot of games, so we'll see. All right, when we come back, though, We're going to have some fun, counting down the top 10 plays of the week. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the starters. Welcome back to the starters. That's not us. That's a NBL video from the late 80s, early 90s. And we asked you, what is the most Lee Ellis moment in this Australian video? You hit us up on Twitter, #TheStarters. Trey, you have a few of the best answers.
Yeah, these are honestly hilarious. The first one comes from Tim, who says the most Lee Ellis moment is clearly the gorilla-like hairy arms and legs. James said it's got to be the haircuts. I'm imagining the players combing their hair whilst shouting "Swish bomb."
Yep.
Carlos says that video is just so full of Lee Ellis that I can't really pick only one moment. But the best tweet we got comes from the NBL themselves, who says, if you could please get Lee Ellis to recreate some of the dance moves on the show, that'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah, come on.
What
are we waiting for?
Come on, Lee, hit that nut bush.
There you go.
Is this what they're doing? Can't see.
Yeah,
What are
pretty
they, the
good.
Rockets?
Oh, nice kicks, man. Those starters kicks.
Yeah.
All right.
Do an
oh,
intro.
okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
All right, knee love.
Now you gotta just
You're
wiggle
good
those
at it.
hips.
You're good at it, man. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually better than I thought.
Oh, he's
More fun.
enjoying himself.
Oh yeah, high leg kick.
Oh,
you go.
could teach a Zumba class.
As good as these guys.
Someone get a ball. All right.
What
Way
a
to
lot
work
of
it out,
fun.
boys. Let's get to the top 10 plays of the week. At number 10, Pelicans big man Terrence Jones with the Rondo!
Beauty.
The fake behind the back pass that just really confuses Joe Harris. Bye.
Oh, man.
Is it disrespectful to do it while Rondo's DNPing?
Oh, interesting.
Somebody's got to do it.
We'll have to ask Rondo. Ooh, a little dance at the end from Terrence.
Staying lefty. Tyler Johnson, this man can get up. Give it back to him. A throwdown on Lou Williams.
Bench likes it.
Give it back.
He does have hops.
He does. He's shown us lots of this throughout his young career.
Oh, Lou was thinking there.
He's going after it.
Wow. Not a shot blocker there, Lou. At number 8, we got some great dimes in this top 10. We start with Evan Turner.
Oh, yeah.
With a very unique pass to how you could be so What? No. How could you be so Harkless? How could you be Harkless?
Yeah.
Never mind. Let's concentrate on the pass.
He's not even on the frame.
Shut up, Skeets.
At number 7, John Wall, known for his passes. I think this was even impressive for John Wall.
Oh,
Yeah. Saw Marcin Gortat sneaking in on the baseline. Here he comes. Boom.
He's
Underhand,
man.
no look. Yeah.
His top 10 dimes from the year.
Yeah,
the
he's
end
got
of the
a great
season were
collection.
nuts. At number 6, Bucks on the fast break. Fear the deer here. Jet to Jabari.
Chet clears that
He's got
runway,
some
huh?
unbelievable dunks. Talk about a compilation. Jabari's awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
he shocks me every time.
Yeah.
He's got surprising hops for a bigger guy.
Squeezing in 2 Chris Paul plays. Whoa, crossover. Whoa, cut dribble. Mean. That was just mean.
That's not fair.
Yeah, he peels back here from Mr. Magruder. Yoing and yoing.
In the lane? Come on.
One more time here. Wraparound pass.
Same game.
Yeah, keeps it up.
Oh, yeah.
Just long enough for Brandon Bass to get in the
I
lane.
think I saw this earlier in the week somewhere.
Yeah, you gave it a very solid
Oh, that's
play, and I
right.
got super angry with you because it's a top 10 play. It's not number 5 for crying out loud. At number 4, Gerald Green. He can still fly.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
He goes up higher when he catches the ball.
That's right. He
somehow.
catches it and he continues to rise and rise and rise, and then his
Like
head's
every
at the
year,
rim.
he likes to jump up there just so he can remember.
Yep.
It's true. At number 3, Jeremy Grant. This is a smooth reverse jam.
Ooh.
You don't often see the reverse from that angle. Coming on this side.
Sort of like baseline, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that there's a 7-footer coming at him.
Yeah.
No problem.
Good way to avoid the shot block.
Great play. At number 2, Sixers, Knicks. Sixers down 1. Find TJ McConnell. Just find him. There he is.
Yeah.
Fade away.
Wow.
Game winner. Oh my. Melo couldn't believe it.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
Winner
was
shot
mad.
from the winner's
And then
circle
I love
right
this.
there.
Try and catch him like a soccer football celebration
yeah.
here.
He got him.
Joel Embiid eventually caught him and then strangled him.
Gonna eat him.
And at number 1, James Johnson. He also beats a buzzer with a throwdown to end the first quarter on Steph. Poor Steph, he's trying to take a charge. He's got his feet on that semicircle there. Did not get the call, but we got a great highlight from James Johnson, the two-hander. Beats the buzzer.
There it is. Top 10 plays of the week. Agree, disagree, let us know on Twitter. #the starters. Final break here, but when we come back, Lili's very solid play which you'll eventually see in the top 10 plays of the week.
Next week.
About a week from now.
See a lot of dudes try to get into the paint. And, our game now has turned into a lot of three-pointers. So, if I got to the hoop a couple times in transition, they don't be back on their heels. It'll be a nice, easy, just almost a pregame shot.
Let me see one.
Let me get back it.
Let me see one.
A little bit of speed into it.
Let me see one, yeah.
A little bit
Guys,
of speed
come
on
down.
the 3D.
Oh, no, Zach's got, she's not going to shoot. There it is.
Catch Uncle Splash 3D there and Zach Levine tomorrow on NBA TV, noon Eastern, 3D TV. Great show. All right, last night's picks. Trey, you were the only one that took your Bulls.
Thanks, guys.
You're struggling at 1-8. Everybody else rolling here. Well, no, at least 3-6. Taz is rolling, and I'm doing great for me. Tonight's game, Celtics, Hawks. Kaka! ESPN, Al Horford returns. Trey and myself have the home Hawks on that winning streak. Lee and Taz like the Celtics. That should be a good one. Lily, hopefully this is also good. Where are we going for VSP?
We're actually going to Mexico for a very solid peso. Here it is. Starts with Darren Williams, goes around the world and ends with Dirk. Perfect for a
Swish ball. Nice.
That's what I call a very solid play.
All right. We recorded the Drop podcast this morning. It's up on iTunes and Google Play, and we got it on the website. We pick and debate all three of our All-NBA teams, and Taz lets us know what cartoon character he most resembles. Steph Curry appeared on a recent episode of Family Guy, lending his voice to a cartoonified version of himself. I'm curious, what cartoon character do you most closely resemble in terms of personality?
It's actually a spinoff of Family Guy. I'd resemble Cleveland, because I'm a kind, warm, gentle man.
He does a pretty good Cleveland.
Very good.
Can't help it.
Do you watch him?
Well, it's off the air now,
Oh,
Skeet.
okay. Lee, we got some fan signs, mate.
The season of the Jobber family continues. This is young Jordan at his first ever Clippers game. He said, "Can you show to the Twitter army guys?" Of course we can. Great job there.
Way to go, young
Yeah,
Jordan.
for the jobbers.
wow.
Back to London again. More signs came in last night. Luke and his wife, their first ever NBA game. Great job there.
Great.
Matthew and his buds were in Madison Square Garden. And Skeet, you'll like this.
What?
This was their first time ever at Madison Square Garden. And Albie was in Mexico last night, and he took this fan sign. So we had fan signs from all over the world this
Coming.
week.
Keep
Yeah.
them coming, guys. All right, that's it for us tonight. We'll be back on Tuesday, so we'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us, folks. In the words of Lee Ellis, 90% of dancing is in the face.
Embrace the long weekend, people.